This is Business Report Africa, brought to you by your digital first Pan-African news network, TOS TV. And now the headlines. CDC Group pledges $1 billion investment in Nigeria and other African countries. Buhari orders MDAs to grant FIRS access to their systems. South Africa in a fierce battle with COVID-19. And Zimbabwe faces dry forex year, while oil prices tumble on fears that energy demand is dropping. Over to stocks market, where Japan gold slumps by 30% after rallying to 52-week high of 1.67 naira on Monday. And we're starting with business news, where CDC Group has pledged a $1 billion investment in strategic areas in Africa that includes infrastructure, climate projects, and finance. CDC Group, a UK-owned development finance institution, has announced its plans to invest a total sum of $1 billion in critical sectors in Nigeria and other African countries. Now, according to a disclosure by Bloomberg Africa, the areas of focus this year will be key sectors such as infrastructure, climate projects, and finance. The group is also part of a consortium considering a bid for a new telecommunication license in Ethiopia. Given the negative impact of the pandemic on most African economies, a 2020 World Investment Report by the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development predicted that investment flow in Africa contracted by 25% to about 40% in 2020. Therefore, the $1 billion pledge is a major boost in resuscitating economic activities, shoring up foreign direct investments and driving development in the continent. And now, Buhari orders MDAs to grant FIRS access to their systems. President Muhammadu Buhari has announced that he has directed all government agencies to grant the FIRS access to its service system for effective delivery. Now, the president also stated that the FIRS fully deploying automation is in line with international best practices. Well, here's what you should know. Now, FIRS announced that it generated 4.95 trillion naira tax revenue in the 2020 fiscal year. So this is about 98% of the tax target of 5.076 trillion that was set for the FIRS by the federal government. The FIRS also announced the creation of 35 new tax audit units to combat illicit financial flow across the country. Now let's go over to South Africa, where South African SMEs are in a fierce battle with COVID-19. Now, global COVID-19 infections have hit 96.1 million confirmed cases, with a death toll reaching about 2.05 million. For South African SMEs already having to contend with a contracting economy, additional shocks from COVID-19 are putting further pressure on their operations. Now, lockdown measures have also caused revenues in many SMEs to fall, and the majority report that are being forced to cut back on business spending to survive. So many insurers are rejecting companies' COVID-19 claims, with some companies left short with little or nothing. South African businesses struggle amid COVID-19 insurance claims. Now let's take a look.
Abandoned and covered with litter, an impala meanders through Vine and Du Toit's safari camp in South Africa's Pilanesberg National Park. Coronavirus restrictions have left his business at the mercy of nature and its survival in the hands of an insurer who has rejected his claim. Facing billions of dollars in losses, insurers globally have decided to honour COVID-19 claims on business interruption policies, provoking pressure from regulators, mounting reputational damage, and a wave of lawsuits from outraged customers. The interim relief payment Du Toit received from his insurer amounted to only 11% of his claim for over $170,000 and was spent on, amongst other things, on overdue wages and debts in a matter of hours.
Make no mistake, I'm grateful for that money, because it takes a little bit stress off me and a few of the other guys that I owed money to. But I'm in a position that if I had that payment or that cover paid out in March, I wouldn't have had this issue where I am now.
Insurers say their policies were not designed to cover the unprecedented fallout of the pandemic, and honouring claims in full could destabilise the industry. Du Toit's company and its 19 staff members was thrown a lifeline when South Africa opened provincial borders for all travel on Tuesday. But with many debts still to pay and a continual ban on international travel, it is going to be tough to stay afloat without a full payout, causing anxiety for workers like campsite host Thomas Mthisi.
If ever I lose this job, I won't be able to do a lot of things. Like I won't be able to pay for my, like school finances, and then as well as helping at home as well.
Du Toit's insurer, Santam, declined to comment.
President Cyril Ramaphosa says that finding funds for the COVID-19 vaccine rollout won't be a problem. The president did not specify where the money would come from, given South Africa's dire financial state. Now, Treasury has already spoken of tax hikes or further lending as possible funding sources, but as with the rollout plan itself, holes of information remain unfilled. Let's take you over to trade, where Zimbabwe faces dry forex year. Now, Zimbabwe braces for a dry year as the coronavirus pandemic centers its deadliest phase yet. Okay, hitting the mining sector, one of the country's leading forex and as players in the mining sector warned this week. They projected gold's exports receipts to fall further this year. Last year, earnings fell 16%. Of course, $891.5 million from $1.064 US dollars recorded in 2019 due to a decrease in gold deliveries in the country. This year, miners have predicted a worse year due to lockdowns imposed across the world during the COVID-19 infections. Chamber of Mines of Zimbabwe CEO Isaac Kwesu said the pandemic was wreaking havoc. The COVID-19 pandemic is seriously affecting production in the sense that some miners have remained at home. The decline comes after another leading forex earner, tobacco, also made a subdued performance during the past year, leaving Zimbabwe on the edge of total economic impulsion due to the rising demand for forex in the economy. Zimbabwe analysts say is in a fix as international leaders who take a cue from the International Monetary Fund are not willing to extend credit lines to the country due to its high default rate. It is also understood that all-weather multi-lending institution Afreximbank is slowly tightening its screws. With gold and tobacco production plummeting, economic analysts predict 2021 to be an even tougher year than the last year. Now let's go over to commodities, where oil prices tumble on fears that energy demand is dropping. Oil prices drifted lower after digesting a surprising build in U.S. crude oil inventories that reignited full demand anxiety. Oil prices gave up some of their previous gains made on hopes of a massive COVID-19 stimulus program under U.S. President Joe Biden, although both oil major benchmarks were trading far above $50 per barrel. Recent data obtained from the American Petroleum Institute revealed a gain of 2.562 million barrels for the week ending January 15th. Now, this was against the 300,000 barrel drop in forecasts prepared earlier by some energy experts. OPEC production at the moment remains well below the level required to meet anticipated demand. It should continue to drive a reduction in oil inventories as the global economy gradually recovers. Let's take a look at the stock market. Now, Japan gold slumps by 30% after rallying to a 52-week high of 1.67 naira on Monday. Japan gold stocks slumped by as much as 30%. As investors sell off shares of the rebranded company, Japan gold stocks, have continued to drop now over 30% in 3 trading sessions as investors on NSE continue to sell off their shares of the rebranded gold. Now, after rallying by 146% in 11 days, a preview of the performance of the shares of the company at the close of trade on Tuesday actually recorded that it slumped from about 30.5%, which was worth 1.67 naira, recorded on Monday, January 18th, 2020, back then. And of course, it slumped to 1.16 naira at the close of trade on the exchange 21st of January. Well, that's all we can bring to you on today's edition of Business Report Africa. Thank you so much for watching. Do follow us on social media at TOS TV Network on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at TOS TV Network. You can also watch TOS TV on TSTV Africa, channel 138. I am Stephanie Odia, and bye for now.